Hey guys, it's Chris Wong. I'm filming this video as of March 25th, 2025, and I'd like to talk about the mindset I had since I was a child to help me get started to build up my wealth. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy interested in building a portfolio. So I'm thinking from the child's point of view and from what I've seen from other kids. So when I was a kid, I would only spend money I had as cash. So if it was cash as a gift, or if my parents said, here's like $10 or here's $20, you can spend whatever you want with that $10 or $20. So from that perspective, I can only buy anything within the $10 or $20 limit. If I want to buy something that costs more, I couldn't. Or I have to ask my parents for more money. That mindset from the beginning helped me decide how to spend within my means. And as I got older and was able to open a bank account, I was only able to withdraw $20 out of my bank account per day. Or I was only able to do a debit transaction of up to $100 per day. So that gave me the mindset of how to spend within my means. And that also prevented me from overspending because I couldn't spend and go into debt. All the restrictions on my bank account were removed after I turned 18 years old, and I was legally able to tell or request the banker if they can remove all the restrictions off my bank account. And then I went to university and I qualified for a credit card. And even when I did use a credit card at that time, it was always in my mind to only spend within my means, and that having a credit card means you have to pay it back. So since I didn't have a job at that time, I couldn't keep spending money relying on income to pay it off. And it was always ingrained in my head from my parents, and even what I learned from other people, interest rates. So if you don't pay it off, interest generates, and your credit card name or your credit card report, the score goes down. So it was always ingrained in my head that I always want a clean record, that I always have to make sure I live within my means in order to get ahead in life. As I got older and experienced a lot of things in life, it always made sense to me to always live within my means. Even when I knew I had a full-time job and I knew income was coming in every 2 weeks, I knew things could happen, like in my job, like whether the boss will change and my job becomes very miserable, or things can change in the company that I could lose my job, or I could actually lose some income. So then I always wanted to keep myself prepared. I have experienced unemployment before, that from that mindset, I always want to have money put aside in the event that happens. In the last few years, I learned about investing, and I learned that it's almost impossible to become rich by just working and saving your money in a high yield interest savings account. That's almost impossible to become rich that way unless you work a job that pays you over $100,000 or $200,000 a year and you don't spend a penny out of it. So then I learned investing is the way to become wealthy, whether you have a high paying job or a low paying job, and that you have to have the mindset to spend less than what you make and invest, and then also save some money just so that there's emergencies and you actually have money to make your day-to-day purchases. In the last year, I learned about investing with margin, and when I got started on investing, I used no margin at all. I only used money that I earned and saved. And when I started learning about margin, I became open to be able to use margin debt in order to try to purchase more investments, or if I want to take out money for a bigger purchase but have it backed up by all the ETFs or all the investments I have as collateral. And that's what I was learning in the last year. In the last month, it was the most margin calls I experienced, and it was actually a good idea that I actually had money saved up in case I experienced margin calls. Just because I didn't try to minimize how much investments to sell. And I did end up selling investments at a loss, but it was also a learning experience that I have to actually hold on to my investments for life, especially high yield dividend paying investments. Collect the dividends so that it will pay down the margin. And if I were to use margin for the rest of my life, I'm not supposed to use a lot of margin. I'm only supposed to use a small percentage of my buying power in order to get ahead, or if I want to use some margin in order to make purchases, then I want to make sure I can back myself up. So for example, if I had a brokerage account of like say $10,000, if I want to borrow money out of the account, then I want to pay attention to my buying power, and I want to make sure I only use a small percentage of margin in order to purchase other investments or to borrow money out to make a purchase. And I probably at this stage will not use more than $2,000 or $3,000 out of a $10,000 account, because I want to make sure I can pay it back quickly. I want to make sure it could withstand down markets. I want to be able to protect myself. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thank you guys for watching.